Welcome in, everyone. Today, we're embarking on a really profound journey through a fascinating set of spiritual laws outlined in our source material. We're going to completely unpack this concept of the absolute power of the source. And honestly, we'll be looking at a pretty radical perspective, one that actually claims to have the formula to completely eliminate anxiety from your life. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to ask yourself a really serious question. Who truly owns your life? Deep down, what external force are you secretly afraid of? Because for a lot of us, life can feel like this dark, turbulent ocean, right? We feel like we're just constantly being tossed around by a chaotic sea of external pressures, forever at the mercy of forces way bigger than ourselves. But what if the source material is right, and all of that chaos is literally just an illusion?
Part 1. The Root and the Leaves, Shifting the Paradigm.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core of our misunderstanding according to the source. Think about it. Historically, almost all of humanity's struggles have revolved around basic survival. To help us grasp this, the text introduces this incredibly powerful metaphor. On one side, you have the leaves. This represents our endless day-to-day anxiety. Stressing over money, the housing market, job titles, or just seeking societal approval. We get so obsessed with trying to force these leaves to grow. But on the exact opposite side, we have the root. And the root is unshakable faith, it's inner peace, and it's a direct connection to the Creator.
Ancient wisdom actually gives us a fascinating clue about how this really works. Historical spiritual figures, the great prophets, they never agonized over the leaves. You don't read about them having sleepless nights over economic downturns or what their neighbors thought of them. They only nourished the root. According to this philosophy, when your spiritual foundation is completely locked in, the material branches, wealth, health, amazing relationships, they just grow automatically. It's effortless. Fix the root, and the leaves take care of themselves.
Moving into Part 2, the illusion of external power, confronting fear.
So the source asks us to completely rethink the concept of polytheism. Historically, we tend to picture, worshiping ancient stone statues. But let's redefine this for the modern day. Modern polytheism is the act of giving the power to create your life to any factor or entity other than the Creator. When you live in constant fear that someone or something else can ruin your life, the text argues you are practically worshiping them.
Think about these mental idols, these false external powers we just hand our lives over to today. We hand our power over to bosses and employers, terrified they totally control our livelihood. We surrender to the economy, treating it like some vengeful deity that dictates our fate. We give ultimate authority to governments, to laws, to our competitors, and even to silly superstitions. We literally bow down to these factors, handing them the absolute power to dictate our happiness.
And here is the harsh reality the text lays out for us. Giving your power to the outside world creates suffering. Full stop. Believing in this illusion of external power is actually the ultimate barrier to feeling worthy of divine, unconditional support. By believing your boss or the stock market dictates your life, the philosophy states that you actively block your natural blessings. You're energetically telling the universe that the Creator's power just isn't quite enough.
Part 3. Breaking your mental idols and taking power back.
This right here is the absolute foundation of the source's entire argument. The absolute power of the Creator is the only true force in the universe. Let that sink in for a second. This implies that no external factor, no boss, no government policy, no sudden economic crash, has even a tiny fraction of power over your life. Unless, of course, you consciously or unconsciously hand your power over to them through your own fear. So, the crucial point is, how do we actually do this? Well, the text walks us through the exact steps to reclaiming your power. Step 1. Identify exactly what you're afraid of. You have to recognize the mental idol first. Step 2, stop relying on or fearing others. Just cut that energetic cord of dependence. Step 3, cultivate your inner self-worth and truly believe you deserve divine support. And finally, Step 4, shift your absolute reliance back to the Creator.
Now the source emphasizes one specific number above absolutely everything else, 100. It argues that you are the 100% creator of your own life through your frequencies, your thoughts, and your beliefs. And by shifting the narrative entirely inward like this, you stop being a victim. You stop desperately looking for external saviors, and you finally stop blaming external scapegoats.
Which brings us to Part 4, the Alchemy of Faith, Changing Reality.
Listen closely to this profound quote from the text. When you stand on the position of absolute faith,
all conspiracies and obstacles miraculously become your launching pad. Wow. Just think about that. The core idea here is that when you are deeply, firmly grounded in the knowledge that only the source has power, literally everything that was meant to break you is alchemized. It gets transformed into the very thing that elevates you.
It's this magnificent paradox of the spiritual universe. Hostility literally transforms into stepping stones for monumental growth. The source makes this massive claim. When you finally stop fearing the opposition and rely solely on the creator, the universe just rearranges itself for you. The very stones people throw at you inadvertently become the solid foundation of your empire. Your enemies basically become servants to your success.
And finally, Part 5, returning to natural living, peaceful flow.
Let's move to and see how this builds into everyday reality, into what the text calls the natural state of flow. According to these principles, when you stop fighting and fearing those external forces, incredible things happen. Customers just find you, without the exhausting, aggressive hustle. Wealth-building ideas arrive entirely organically. Loving, incredibly supportive people naturally surround you. And your physical body, finally freed from that chronic stress of fear, literally begins to regenerate its health.
Because the ultimate takeaway here is that life is not meant to be a struggle. It's simply a return to your true monotheistic nature. You absolutely do not need to fight the world to get what you want. You just need to rest in the unwavering knowledge that the source is the only true power out there. True power, at least in this view, isn't about fighting at all. It's about peaceful, absolute knowing.
So, I want to leave you with one final provocative question today. What is the biggest mental idol you need to break right now to reclaim your power? Is it the fear of the economy? Maybe it's the opinion of your family or a really demanding boss? The source challenges you to identify exactly where you've surrendered your power, smash that mental idol to pieces, and reconnect to the only true source. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep focusing on the root, and I'll catch you next time.